Hello Libra! Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Tarot Grand Lux by Ciro Marchetti. Website at the top here is usgamesinc.com. If you're interested, feel free to freeze frame if you need to, of course. Supportive Oracle cards, Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. Illustrated by Jesse Reish. There's a website at the bottom, hayhouse.com. Feel free to check that out too if you are so inclined. You might have to use a search engine. I don't know if that's the updated version of that website since that box is almost 2 decades old. Anyway, anywho, what do we have for Libra? Something might... You seem stable, something else might be going. And whatever that turns out to, that's on them. That's weird. Yeah, okay. The wisdom to know what to do. The wisdom. There's 2 things going on. The wisdom to know how things are going to turn out versus the wisdom about how they should turn out. You know where this is going to end up. That's what they keep saying. You know how this is going to go. You can try to make this work out correctly, but you know where this is going to go. You know how this is going to end. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way. It's not really in your control to say if that's something they deserve or not. That's kind of like they're doing what they're doing, and that's on them. But it's kind of like the wisdom to know how this is going to go. You know how this is going to go. I keep getting that. Like, you're a little bit advanced on this one. As in, opposed to normal. Like, normally you're kind of like, you can see this and that, and you pay attention to how people, work through, and then people do what they're going to do, and you're like, well, I thought it was going to go this way, and then they made a different decision. But in this situation, you're like, no, I know what's going to happen next. Like, I know how this person acts. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going to go next. I know they're going to do this. I know they're going to do that. You seem to have an extra little intel on this one. A little bit more information than normal is what I'm getting. I don't want this to go bad is what I keep feeling your side. Your energy's kind of like, I'm not really looking for this to go bad. But it's going to go where it's going to go. Somebody is being very stubborn, is what I'm getting. And what they're doing is causing problems. You can give your 2 cents, but I feel like the more I am involved with this, the more chance I'm going to get dragged down with it. You were definitely trying. The High Priestess reminds me of it does remind me of some Libra energy, in my opinion, because it's kind of looking at the situation for what it really is and not really kind of like just trying to pretend it's all good when it's not. It's kind of like some of it's good, some of it's not. I just got to see how I can make this work to its optimal advantage and just pull it all together the best we can. And you're trying to work with this. I feel like you're trying to kind of mediate through this, but it's not really effective at this point. And it's kind of like I could try to push it, but do I have to be the one that does it? There's going to be some type of fallout here. I see it coming. There's definitely some type of fallout coming on. I'm getting like somebody is just hell-bent that they know what they're doing, and they're doing it the way they want to, and it's going to be their way. And you're over here on the other side going, well, I see a little bit more of what's going on here, and I don't think they're right. And I'm trying to get them to do things differently, but the more I try to make them do it a little bit better, the more they fight me. The more I try to influence them, the more they just kind of twist it against me too. It's just like they're twisting your words a little bit. I feel like they are twisting your words a little bit, and it's kind of bothering you about that. It's about where you're taking your energy. You got the King and Queen of Fire. And it's kind of like also, this is like the good and the bad of the same situation. You do need to do something, but what I'm getting that would really work for you is to not try to make this a success, which I know that sounds very odd, but don't don't go for the success in the situation, protect yourself and step out of it. Protect yourself and step. Be more cold with the situation and just step away from it. Somebody's made their decision, and I feel like it's kind of like one of those times where they're becoming their own problem. They're becoming their own problem, and they're in this like this. I'm getting the train and the bear on these two cards mostly. One is safe travel, the other one is the Knight of Pentacles. But I see the bear if I can move my fingers enough. There's the bear down here on the train. I feel like something just bullying its way through it. Just bullying their way through something, just bashing through, kind of like, it's going to go my way. I'm not seeing anybody's point of view. I'm not going to do it any other way. I'm doing it my way, and that's that. And I see somebody just kind of barreling through, like it's going to be my way, and they're just hell-bent on that. There's more to be learned from this. Whatever they're doing, it's not going to go well, but it's going to be one of those moments where sometimes things suck, but you learn from it. You know what I mean? They're going to move on, but there's going to be healing. It's kind of like, it's going to be one of those moments where they have to screw it up. It's kind of like the School of Hard Knocks. How do I explain this? It's kind of like, you know, when you're a kid and, you know, you jump off, you know, a fence that's 6 feet high and you break your leg and you're like, well, that didn't work. And the pain of breaking your leg was so bad that you don't do that crap anymore. You know, just took out the daredevil right out of you. Took the daredevil right out of you doing that stuff. This might be one of those things, which you hate to see somebody go through. Especially like if you have kids and you're kind of like, listen, don't jump off a crap like that. You don't need to break your leg to learn not to do that. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. And I feel like that's where you're kind of in that parent role right now. Like, you don't need to do that. Just don't jump off that fence because you're going to break your leg. And that's a hard lesson. Don't do that to yourself. But they're going to do what they're going to do. It's kind of like, as long as you're around, they seem to not jump off of things like that. But, you know, once they get the moment, you're not around, they jump off, they break their leg. But once they do it takes the daredevil right out of them because they're like, well, that was a horrible experience. It hurt horribly. And then I couldn't do things I wanted to for 6 to 8 weeks. So, you know, that was no good. It's the School of Hard Knocks is kind of how I relate to it. Hard, painful, really difficult way to learn a lesson. But it's also like once you learn that lesson, you don't go back and screw it up again. You're like, no, that sucked too much. That really, really, really sucked. So I'm not going to do that again. That's where they're headed. Because when they hit this wall, it's the last time they're hitting that wall. But it's going to be very, very bad. It's going to be very, very upsetting. Because I do see them like hitting this devastation, but there's healing coming out of it. There is healing coming out of it. Is it the way you want it to happen? I don't believe so. It doesn't seem like it. But I also see if you back up, it solves the situation. You don't get dragged out of it. Stay back. Realize they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to do what they're going to do. I do feel like once it's all said and done, it's kind of like if we're going to use that same analogy of jumping off the fence. After 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks have passed and they've healed and they can do what they want again and they're back to normal, you're going to notice the change in them. You will notice the change in them. You'll see that justice did finally come around. You'll feel a lot better that, you know, they took the daredevil out of them at least. You do have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is very mature energy. Kind of like, I'm happy that they're going to be safe from here on out. I don't really like how that played out, but hey, at least I know from here on out it's going to be okay. Why is the Two of Cups also here for you? Will this person be nicer to you after? Well, you got the Devil card, and you've got the Page of Fire. I feel like I'm also kind of... I'm a lot happier... I can remind this person about, you know, I have good information, but I also have a different relationship with them from here on out. I feel like I have a very different relationship after this big devastation happens. Every now and then I feel like I give my 2 cents, I try to work with them. And if they start pushing against me, I'm like, listen, we've been through this before. What I'm going to do, at this point, I've told you what I think you should do. You seem to scoff at it. I'm going to step back. I don't want bad things to happen to you, but you know what happened last time you didn't listen to me. That was a very devastating moment. It's your business. You make your decision. I've given you my 2 cents. Now it's on you. You do what you got to do. I'm not going to fight with you about it. I do feel like the relationship has evolved, especially because you just tell them things once after this, and you make sure they understand, like, I really think it's in your best interest to not do that, whatever this next thing is. But I feel like it changes it, because when you have more of an impact, when you say something and then you step back, I feel like it then kind of rolls around in their brain, and then after a couple days, they're like, it starts to bother them, kind of like, well, actually, the Libra does know stuff, does know things. And I have hit that wall of devastation again. I do feel like the relationship is better. I don't feel like I stress about it as much either anymore. I simply give them my 2 cents. They don't want to hear it. I step back, but I make sure they know, like, hey, I'm telling you this for your best interest. You don't want to do that. I'm just going to step back and let you do what you got to do. The relationship does evolve. It does. It does evolve. So maybe that's good in the long run. Is there anything else I can really say? Because I feel like it is going to evolve. Is there anything else? Ten of Fire and the Judgment. Trial by Fire is what I'm thinking. It's the Ten of Fire is the Ten of Wands. It's a really difficult way to succeed, but I feel like they're saying after this, they're still going to struggle, but I don't think they're going to have this level of devastation. Like, whatever's coming in here first, it's flat out Ten of Swords. After that, they're going to have the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is more, it's kind of like the same, going through the same stuff, but like going through a really hard situation. But the Ten of Swords is like, after you go through all this crap, you have nothing to show for it. The Ten of Wands is like, after you go through all this crap, you have something that went well, at least. They're still going to be kind of difficult, but I just don't feel like you're fighting with them as much. And I feel like that internal battle is going on within them more without you having to do it as much. So I think that's the only thing I could say about that. They're going to be more inner conflicted than outer conflicted. It's more like now they're pushing it off on everybody else. After this devastation, I feel like you say things once, you step back, and it feels like it's more inner conflict they're having rather than arguing with you. They're arguing with themselves. Does that make sense? I think it does. Just in case that matters, because I feel like you're kind of like, they have a fighting spirit. They're always going to be kind of difficult. Yeah, but if they're difficult for themselves, it's better for them than them being difficult for you. So, all right. I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.